Dr. Austin Robinson stares at the crystalline being writhing in pain before him, knowing that he represents humanity's last chance to save not just a life, but thousands of years of alien history. The Akamarian elder's normally translucent body has turned cloudy and fractured, evidence of the neural degradation that's causing him excruciating pain. Inside Treatment Chamber 7 of the interstellar medical station Helios 7, the air hums with the steady beep of monitoring equipment. The year is 2157, and the 45-year-old human neurosurgeon faces the most challenging case of his career. His patient, Paya, has lived for 147 years, but now each breath seems to bring fresh agony as crystalline formations spread through his neural pathways. "The scans are complete, doctor," announces the medical AI, projecting a three-dimensional model of Paya's neural structure. The display reveals an intricate network of crystalline pathways, now compromised by irregular formations that pulse with angry red indicators. Robinson leans forward, his practiced eye catching something familiar in the patterns. The crystalline structures bear a striking resemblance to the quantum computing arrays humanity has recently pioneered. He pulls up additional reference data, comparing the neural formations to schematics of human quantum computers. "Your people have sought help from many worlds," Robinson says to Paya, who manages a weak nod. The Akamarian High Council's desperate message still rings in his ears. Their people have approached dozens of advanced civilizations, only to be turned away due to the complexity of their crystalline biology. The station's alien administrators hover near the chamber entrance, their concerns evident in their rigid postures. "The diplomatic risks of failure are too high," one warns, but Robinson barely hears them. He's already formulating a treatment plan, one that would adapt human quantum computing principles to create a neural bypass system. "Look at these patterns," Robinson explains, highlighting sections of the scan. "We can use our quantum computing technology to redirect neural signals around the damaged areas. It's never been attempted, but the theoretical framework is sound. Time works against them. As keeper of the ancestral memories, Paya carries millennia of Akamarian history within his crystalline matrix. His death would erase countless generations of knowledge, songs, and stories that define his people." The administrators debate, their voices rising with concern, but Robinson stands firm. He presents his case with the quiet confidence that has defined his career in xenobiological pain management. Humanity may be younger than many spacefaring races, but their unique perspective and technological innovations offer solutions others haven't considered. Finally, after tense deliberation, the administration gives their reluctant approval. Robinson turns back to his patient, noting the increasing cloudiness in Paya's crystalline structure. They need to begin immediately. As the medical team prepares for the unprecedented procedure, Robinson feels the weight of not just one life, but an entire civilization's heritage resting on his shoulders. Robinson wastes no time after receiving approval. He strides to the communication terminal and contacts Dr. Marcus Henderson in the research division. "Marcus, I need your expertise with quantum computing interfaces. Meet me in Lab 3 immediately." Within minutes, they're examining detailed holograms of Paya's neural structure alongside quantum computer schematics. Henderson's eyes widen as he studies the parallel patterns. The crystalline formations. They're almost identical to our third-generation quantum processors. The fabrication units hum to life as they begin producing prototype neural bridges. Robinson monitors Paya's deteriorating condition through the lab's remote sensors. The cloudiness in the elder's structure has spread another 12%. "We need to stabilize him before attempting the full procedure," Robinson says, adjusting parameters on a quantum resonance projector. "These modified fields should help reduce the neural pressure temporarily." "Doctor." Verrill Thompson enters the lab, his face tight with concern. "Austin, this procedure has no precedent. The risks. Look at these test results, Robinson interrupts, displaying data from their synthetic crystal trials. The numbers scroll across the screen. Crystal integrity maintained at 97%, neural pathway simulation successful in 42 out of 45 attempts. Thompson studies the data, his expression gradually shifting from skepticism to cautious optimism. I'll authorize full access to the medical AI and monitoring systems, but I'm supervising this procedure personally. A sharp alarm cuts through their discussion. Paya's monitors show rapidly increasing crystal fracture patterns. Henderson rushes to examine the neural interface components they've fabricated. The standard materials aren't bonding properly with the Acamarian crystal structure. They're being rejected at the molecular level. Henderson pulls up data from his recent research. But look at these quantum memory storage crystals we've been developing, if we modify the growth parameters. His fingers fly across the controls, adjusting the molecular fabrication settings. The new crystal formations emerge from the synthesizer, glowing with a subtle resonance that matches Paya's neural frequency patterns. Robinson examines them under the quantum microscope. This could work, but we need to move faster. A second alarm blares more urgent than the first. On the medical monitors, entire sections of Paya's memory matrix flash red. The elder's voice comes through the intercom, weak and distorted. I cannot access the Third Age Chronicles. The memories, they fade. Begin converting operating theater 7 now, Robinson orders. Install the quantum field generators and crystal stabilizers. And get Dr. Morrison up here. We need her expertise with the sedation protocols. Dr. Sarah Morrison arrives as the team transfers Paya to the operating theater. She studies the elder's readings, making rapid calculations. Standard sedatives would disrupt his crystal matrix. I'm synthesizing a modified compound that should maintain neural coherence while inducing stasis. The operating theater transforms into a specialized crystalline surgery unit. Quantum field generators create a stable resonance bubble around the surgical area. Crystal stabilizers line the walls, their carefully tuned frequencies helping to hold Paya's degrading structure together. Robinson positions the first neural bridge, its specially grown crystals pooling in harmony with Paya's neural pathways. The medical AI projects guidance markers, highlighting the optimal insertion points. Morrison administers the modified sedative, watching carefully as Paya's consciousness level drops while his crystal matrix maintains stability. Beginning primary incision, Robinson announces, activating a quantum-tuned laser scalpel. The beam parts Paya's outer crystal layer with microscopic precision, creating an access point for the first neural bypass. The real challenge lies ahead, connecting these experimental bridges to thousands of years of living memory. The quantum-tuned laser scalpel created a precise entry point, but as Robinson began accessing Paya's deeper neural layers, the monitoring systems erupted in a cascade of alerts. The crystalline structure's deterioration exceeded their initial assessments. Fracture patterns spreading through memory sectors 7 through 12, Henderson reported, his fingers dancing across the quantum imaging controls. Nearly 40% of the matrix shows micro-damage. Robinson studied the three-dimensional display, noting the spiderweb of cracks spreading through Paya's neural pathways. We need structural support, now. He turned to the fabrication console, rapidly inputting parameters for crystalline scaffolding. Program the fabricators for Pointzerothry micron lattice structures. The molecular fabrication units hummed to life, producing microscopic crystal supports designed to brace the failing neural pathways. Robinson guided each scaffold into position using quantum-guided manipulators, watching as the supports distributed the structural load away from the most compromised areas. Neural activity maintaining at 62%, Morrison announced, adjusting the anesthesia delivery system. But these pain response resonances are interfering with the bridge frequencies. The quantum neural bridges, laid out on their sterile field, pulsed with carefully calibrated energy. As Robinson attempted to position the first one, Pia's crystal matrix vibrated at a discordant frequency, threatening to shatter the delicate connection. Morrison's hands moved swiftly, introducing a modified compound into the sedation matrix. Adding resonance dampeners to the anesthetic mixture, this should stabilize the interference without blocking neural transmission. The medical AI's voice cut through the concentrated silence. Warning: cascade failure detected in secondary memory centers. Neural degradation accelerating. We need more processing power, Henderson said, studying the quantum load calculations. The neural transition requirements exceed our current capacity. He activated the communication panel. Director Hayes, we need access to the station's primary quantum core. The response came swift and sharp. Absolutely not. The safety protocols will all be irrelevant if we lose 3,000 years of a Camarian history, Robinson interrupted, displaying Pia's rapidly deteriorating neural scans. The core is our only option. Seconds stretched into minutes as Hayes deliberated. Finally, granted, but any sign of quantum instability and you pull the plug immediately. The massive processing power of the station's quantum core helped stabilize the neural patterns, allowing Robinson to complete the primary bridge installations. Each connection required microscopic precision, linking quantum pathways through the crystalline scaffolding. As they activated the first neural bypass, Pia's crystal structure flared with rejection responses. The newly installed pathways began to deteriorate, their carefully grown crystals turning cloudy. "Get me Dr. James Morrison from research," Robinson ordered. "We need the experimental nanofabrication system." Within minutes, the prototype arrived, a sleek device housing billions of quantum-guided nanites capable of real-time crystal modification. Robinson integrated it into their surgical array, using it to make continuous adjustments to the bypass crystals as they bonded with Pia's neural matrix. The first series of bridges activated successfully, creating stable pathways around the worst damage. But as power began flowing through the quantum networks, energy fluctuations appeared in the monitoring displays. Bridge capacity at 87%, Henderson reported. But these power variations, he highlighted a series of irregular spikes in the quantum field readings. If they grow any stronger, they could destabilize the entire crystal network. Robinson studied the fluctuation patterns, noting their correlation with Pia's neural activity. They'd succeeded in establishing the bypass system, but maintaining its stability would require precise monitoring and constant adjustments. One power surge, one moment of misaligned quantum resonance, could shatter both the bridges and Pia's fragile memory matrix. "Prepare the secondary bridge array," Robinson instructed, keeping his eyes on the quantum field displays. "We need redundant pathways before these fluctuations can cascade." He adjusted the nanofabrication parameters, preparing for the next phase of an operation that would push the boundaries of both human technology and alien biology. The quantum field monitors flashed red as power surges rippled through the neural bridges. Henderson's eyes widened at the readings scrolling across his display. Processing load exceeding projected parameters. The quantum core can't handle this volume of neural data. Robinson studied the fluctuation patterns, noting how they aligned with waves of activity in Pia's crystal matrix. The memories, they're not passive data. They're actively seeking stable storage paths through the bridges. Primary core reaching critical threshold, the medical AI announced. Neural processing capacity at 93% and climbing. Henderson initiated emergency protocols, his fingers flying across the control interface, redirecting power from secondary station systems, shutting down non-essential operations in sections 12 through 20. The power reallocation bought them precious minutes, but warning indicators continued to climb. Robinson turned to Thompson. "Get Victor Reeves up here now. We need his expertise with the station's data architecture." Reeves arrived moments later, his usual methodical demeanor evident as he assessed the situation. "These neural patterns." He studied the quantum signatures. "They're compatible with our primary data core's crystal storage matrix. We could buffer the memories there temporarily while stabilizing the bridge network." "Absolutely not." Hayes's voice cut in through the comm system. "Connecting an alien consciousness to our primary systems, Director," Robinson interrupted, projecting a holographic visualization of Paya's degrading neural structure. 3,000 years of a Camarian history will vanish in the next 20 minutes without intervention. The risk is justified. Seconds ticked by as Hayes deliberated. "Implement maximum containment protocols. One sign of system contamination, and you sever the connection immediately." The team worked rapidly to establish the data core interface. As the first memory streams transferred, Robinson noticed something unexpected in the neural patterns. "These aren't just historical records. Look at this data structure. It contains detailed information about a Camarian crystal formation processes." Henderson examined the readings. The molecular patterns match natural growth cycles in their neural matrices. "We can use this to modify the remaining bridges." The fabrication units recalibrated, producing new quantum bridges that incorporated the Camarian crystal patterns. Morrison adjusted the anesthesia delivery system, fine-tuning the resonance frequencies to support natural crystal reformation. "Beginning memory reintegration," Reeves announced, initiating the transfer back from the station's data core. The new bridges pulsed with energy as data flowed through them. Crystal structures began forming along their length, expanding and strengthening the neural pathways. Robinson monitored the growth patterns carefully. The bridges are adapting, becoming more compatible with his natural biology. But victory remained uncertain. The medical AI's voice carried notes of urgency. "Warning, primary consciousness core showing signs of fragmentation, neural cohesion failing." "We need to complete the integration now," Robinson said, adjusting the quantum field parameters. "Prepare for full bypass activation." A new alarm blared through the operating theater. "Dr. Robinson," the station's environmental control system announced, "sensors detect a Class 3 solar storm approaching. Estimated impact in 18 minutes." Morrison checked the anesthesia levels. "We can't suspend the procedure at this stage. His neural matrix won't survive interruption." "Reroute emergency power reserves to the operating theater," Robinson ordered. "Henderson, start load balancing calculations for the final integration phase. Morrison, prepare to modulate the sedation field in sync with the power fluctuations." The quantum bridges hummed with increasing energy as Robinson began the delicate process of merging Paya's consciousness across the old and new neural pathways. Each power adjustment required precise calibration to prevent cascade failure in the crystal matrices. The first waves of solar interference began affecting station systems. Power levels fluctuated across the neural network as Robinson guided the final connections into place. Thousands of years of a Camarian knowledge hung in the balance, suspended between failing crystal matrices and experimental quantum bridges as the storm approached. Chief Engineer Drake burst into the operating theater, his weathered face illuminated by the flickering emergency displays. "Initiating power redistribution. You'll have full coverage for the procedure." Robinson nodded without looking up from the quantum field controls. "Status of the electromagnetic shielding. Deploying experimental deflectors now. Engineering teams are reinforcing all critical junctions." Drake's fingers flew across his portable terminal, redirecting power flows from the station's outer rings. "Medical bay shielding at maximum capacity." The medical AI's crystalline voice cut through the tension. "Warning, desynchronization detected in stored consciousness patterns. neural cohesion declining. Henderson analyzed the streaming data, his expression tightening. The quantum bridges are generating feedback loops. We need perfect synchronization across all neural pathways. Show me the activation sequence, Robinson commanded, studying the complex patterns on Henderson's display. If we coordinate the power distribution through the station's quantum core. Exactly. Henderson highlighted key nodes in the neural network. A synchronized pulse could stabilize the entire system, but the timing has to be perfect. New crystal formations caught Robinson's attention, spreading along the quantum bridges like frost across glass. Look at this growth pattern. The bridges are adapting to his natural frequency. Morrison adjusted the anesthesia delivery system, compensating for the unexpected crystal development. Vital signs holding stable, but these new formations are accelerating. All non-essential personnel, clear the medical section immediately. Director Hayes's voice crackled through the comm system. Engineering reports electromagnetic interference affecting secondary systems. The lights dimmed momentarily as another power fluctuation rippled through the station. Drake monitored the readings from his terminal. First wave of solar radiation incoming. Deflector array holding at 87% efficiency. Robinson observed an emerging resonance pattern in the quantum field displays. The neural bridges pulsed in harmony with Paya's crystal matrix, creating self-reinforcing energy patterns. These resonance frequencies, they're strengthening the integration. Quantum core processing load at 92%, Reeves reported from his station. Beginning memory transfer sequence alpha through delta. The medical AI projected updated neural mapping data. Crystal growth rate exceeding projected parameters. Neural pathway stability at risk. Initiating synchronized activation sequence, Henderson announced, his hands steady on the controls. Routing power through quantum bridges in 3, 2, 1. Energy surged through the neural network, each bridge activated in precise sequence, creating stable channels for Paya's consciousness to flow through. The crystal growths responded, extending and interweaving with the existing neural pathways. First wave of memories successfully integrated, Reeves confirmed. Moving to second sequence. A warning klaxon blared. Drake checked his readings. Main solar wave approaching. Electromagnetic interference increasing. Maintain bridge synchronization, Robinson ordered, adjusting quantum field parameters to compensate for the growing crystal structures. Morrison, status. Independent anesthesia systems functioning normally. Neural activity patterns stabilizing across new pathways. The medical AI highlighted areas of concern in the holographic display. Warning: crystal growth accelerating in sections 3 through 7. Neural bridge capacity approaching maximum threshold. Henderson modified the power distribution algorithms in real time, adjusting quantum resonance to match natural crystal frequency. This should help regulate the growth rate. The operating theater hummed with energy as the final integration sequence began. Multiple displays showed the complex dance of consciousness patterns flowing through the quantum bridges, merging with Paya's original neural matrix. New crystal formations continued to spread, but now they moved in harmony with the artificial pathways. Electromagnetic shielding at 64% and dropping, Drake reported. We have minutes before the storm peak hits. Robinson focused on the quantum field controls, guiding the merging consciousness streams through the crystalline network. The success of 3,000 years of a Camarian memory preservation hung in the delicate balance between artificial technology and living crystal. Crystal growth acceleration confirmed, the medical AI announced. Neural bridge capacity at 95%. A blinding flash illuminated the medical bay as the solar storm's leading edge struck the station. Emergency lights flickered, casting shifting shadows across the operating theater. Drake's hands flew across his console, rerouting power circuits. diverting life support from decks 3 through 12, Drake announced. Channeling emergency reserves to operating Theater 7. Robinson noted new growth patterns emerging along the quantum bridge's crystalline structures propagating in precise geometric formations. Henderson, are you seeing this? The bridges aren't just bypassing damage anymore. Confirmed. Henderson adjusted his display, highlighting the regeneration zones. The artificial pathways are templating new crystal growth. It's like they're teaching Paya's neural matrix how to repair itself. The station's superstructure groaned as another wave of solar energy bombarded the weakening shields. Warning indicators flashed across multiple displays as power fluctuations rippled through the neural network. Quantum processing core at critical levels, Reeves called out. Energy buildup detected in primary bridges. Morrison monitored Paya's vital signs, making micro-adjustments to the anesthesia field. Crystal resonance frequency spiking. The consciousness integration is accelerating beyond safe parameters. A priority communication alert flashed on Director Hayes's terminal. Robinson, the Akamarian High Council is demanding answers. They've detected our energy signatures. Patch them through to my secondary display, Robinson replied, never taking his eyes off the quantum field controls. Henderson, help me stabilize these power surges. Drake, what options do we have? Drake studied the station's power distribution grid. The solar collection arrays, we could modify them to channel the storm's energy. Use it to power the quantum bridges directly. Make it happen, Robinson ordered. He addressed the Akamarian Council while continuing to adjust the neural pathways. Honorable Council members, we've successfully established quantum bridges throughout Elder Paya's neural matrix. However, we're experiencing unexpected regeneration effects during a major solar storm. The Council's collective response echoed through the comm system as Drake's engineering teams reconfigured the collection arrays. Power levels stabilized across the bridge network as solar energy was channeled into dedicated circuits. Dr. Robinson, the medical AI interrupted, critical decision point reached. Natural crystal regeneration is exceeding safe metabolic limits. Options: allow continued regeneration with high system stress, or restrict healing to current neural pathways only. Robinson studied the regeneration patterns. The quantum bridges pulsed with transferred solar energy, each pulse stimulating new crystal growth along their length. Paya's original neural pathways showed signs of recovery where they interfaced with the artificial structures. These growth patterns, Henderson observed, they're rewriting everything we know about Akamarian neural repair. But the power requirements. Reeves, Robinson called out, can you create additional data pathways through auxiliary systems? We need to manage this consciousness overflow. Implementing now. Routing through tertiary processors. Reeves's fingers danced across his interface. But we're still seeing dangerous spikes in the quantum core. Morrison adjusted the anesthesia field to compensate for the increasing neural activity. Consciousness patterns becoming more coherent. The memories are integrating faster than projected. Another solar wave struck the station. Emergency lighting stuttered as Drake's modified collectors absorbed the energy surge, feeding it into the quantum bridge network. The crystalline structures along the neural pathways flared with transferred power, accelerating their growth. Neural bridge capacity at maximum, the medical AI warned. Decision required. Proceed with full regeneration protocol. Robinson watched the streaming data, noting how each new crystal formation strengthened the surrounding neural tissues. The quantum bridges hummed with solar energy, creating a self-sustaining regeneration cycle that spread through Paya's neural matrix. Status of consciousness integration. Robinson asked, preparing to make his decision. Memory patterns at 60% reintegration, Reeves reported. Ancestral data maintaining coherence through auxiliary pathways. The quantum core's warning indicators continued to flash as the solar storm raged outside. Drake's modified collectors channeled the celestial energy, turning nature's fury into the power needed to heal an ancient mind. "Proceed with full regeneration," Robinson commanded, his eyes fixed on the streaming data. "Henderson, help me establish controlled power fluctuations through the bridges. We'll use the storm's energy to our advantage." Drake's fingers flew across his terminal, modifying the collector array parameters, synchronizing power feed to match crystal resonance frequencies, initiating pulse sequence. Energy flowed through the quantum bridges in measured bursts, each pulse timed to the natural rhythm of Paya's neural patterns. The crystalline structures responded, spreading in geometric patterns that followed the artificial pathways. "Remarkable," Henderson breathed, studying the sensor readings. "The quantum bridges aren't just facilitating growth, they're amplifying Paya's natural regenerative capabilities." The medical AI highlighted new data streams. Detection, enhanced efficiency in neural pathway formation. Hybrid crystal structures exhibiting 147% increase in data transmission capacity. A blinding flash flooded the operating theater as the solar storm reached its peak. Warning klaxons blared as power surges rippled through the station's systems. "Primary grid failing," Drake shouted, switching to emergency protocols. He activated his comm link. "Engineering teams Alpha and Beta, suit up. We need manual intervention at the fusion backup nodes." Robinson watched as several engineers donned radiation suits, heading out into the maintenance tubes despite the fierce solar bombardment. On his secondary display, their vital signs flickered alongside the neural integration data. "Consciousness patterns stabilizing," Morrison reported, adjusting the anesthesia field. "Ancestral memory integration accelerating through enhanced pathways." The station's quantum core hummed as it processed the massive data transfer. Reeves monitored the flow, making microadjustments to prevent data corruption. "The hybrid pathways are handling the load better than projected. Memory integrity at 99.8%. Director Hayes's terminal lit up with an incoming priority transmission. "Dr. Werner from HAMCI is requesting immediate consultation," she announced. "He's mobilizing resources across multiple stations. Tell him we'll transmit preliminary data once we're through the critical phase," Robinson replied, focusing on the crystal formation patterns. The quantum bridges pulsed with solar-charged energy, their crystalline structure shifting to match Acamarian neural tissues. Drake's voice crackled through the comm system. "Fusion backup successfully integrated, power levels stabilizing." "Dr. Robinson," the medical AI interrupted, detecting anomalous energy signatures in newly formed neural matrices, unknown frequencies emanating from hybrid crystals. Henderson adjusted his scanners, analyzing the unexpected readings. "These patterns. They're unlike anything in our databases. The merger of technologies is creating something new." Morrison tracked the neural activity spikes on his display. "Consciousness integration at 78%. The hybrid system is processing ancestral memories faster than pure Acamarian crystals ever could." The operating theater hummed with energy as the quantum bridges continued their transformation. Each crystal formation adapted and evolved, creating structures that merged the best aspects of both species' technologies. "Beginning power reduction to sections gamma through kappa," Drake announced, preparing for transition to self-sustaining operation. Robinson studied the strange energy signatures rippling through Paya's neural matrix. The hybrid crystals pulsed with an inner light, each flash corresponding to new patterns in the quantum field readings. "Henderson, establish monitoring protocols for these energy emissions," Robinson ordered. "We need to understand what we've created before we complete the transition." "Additional quantum sensors online," Henderson confirmed, mapping energy signature variations now. The medical AI projected a new set of holographic displays. "Warning, hybrid crystal structures exhibiting properties outside expected parameters, unknown capabilities detected in neural interface zones. Morrison adjusted the anesthesia field to compensate for the increased neural activity. Consciousness patterns show perfect integration across original and artificial pathways. The hybrid system is operating as a single unified network. Through the operating theater's viewport, the solar storm's fury illuminated space with sheets of charged particles. Drake's modified collectors continued harvesting the celestial energy, feeding it into the evolving neural network, while his engineers monitored power distribution from their hazardous positions in the maintenance tubes. Initiating final phase preparations, Robinson announced, his hands steady on the quantum field controls. The hybrid crystals pulsed with otherworldly energy, their mysteries still unfolding as human and Acamarian technologies merged into something unprecedented. Something unprecedented. As the storm's intensity began to wane, Robinson initiated the final phase protocols. Solar particle density decreasing, Drake reported from his station. Collection arrays automatically adjusting to maintain optimal power flow. Robinson's hands moved with precision across the quantum controls. Beginning support system shutdown sequence. Henderson, monitor those hybrid formations. We need clean data on their self-sustaining capabilities. The hybrid crystals pulsed with steady rhythm as Robinson methodically deactivated the external power feeds. Each crystal cluster maintained its structure, the quantum bridges now fully integrated into Paya's natural matrix. Remarkable, Henderson breathed, studying the quantum sensor feeds. The hybrid structures are achieving perfect resonance synchronization. These efficiency ratings, they're beyond anything we've seen in pure quantum systems or Acamarian matrices. Morrison adjusted his medical displays, tracking neural activity across the new pathways. Pain response indicators dropping rapidly. Neural patterns show optimal integration across all sectors. Drake's engineering teams began powering down the emergency systems, their work in the maintenance tubes complete. The station's regular power grid hummed back to life as backup systems returned to standby mode. Through the operating theater's viewport, the solar storm's fury dimmed to occasional flashes. Inside Paya's crystal matrix, something far more impressive illuminated the chamber, a steady, clear luminescence that pulsed in perfect harmony with the quantum bridge network. Consciousness reintegration at 100%, the medical AI announced. All neural pathways functioning within optimal parameters. Robinson watched as the final support systems powered down. The hybrid neural network maintained its stability, each crystal formation glowing with internal light. Beginning final awakening sequence. Morrison maintained close monitoring of consciousness patterns. Paya's crystalline form shifted slightly as awareness returned. The clouded, fragmented sections that had marked his neural damage now shone clear and bright, merged seamlessly with the quantum bridge structures. The elder's eyes opened, focusing first on Robinson, then scanning the operating theater. When he spoke, his voice carried none of the strain that had marked it for decades. The pain, it's gone, completely gone. Henderson adjusted his scanners, capturing detailed readings of the active hybrid network. Neural activity is perfectly stable across all pathways. The quantum bridges have fully integrated with your natural crystal matrix. The ancestral memories, Paya said, his tone carrying wonder. They're so clear now. I can access historical data with precision I've never experienced. The medical AI projected a final diagnostic overlay. Complete neural scan indicates successful integration of all hybrid pathways. No degradation detected in quantum bridge structures. Crystal matrix showing enhanced data transmission capabilities across all sectors. Robinson completed his final checks, documenting the stable fusion of technologies. The streaming data confirmed what they could all see: the procedure had succeeded beyond their most optimistic projections. Paya moved with graceful precision as he rose from the operating table. His crystalline form caught the starlight streaming through the viewport, refracting it in complex patterns that highlighted the successful merger of human innovation and a Cimmerian biology. Initiating ancestral memory recording, Paya announced, his crystal structure resonating with the process of capturing this historic moment. Every detail of the procedure, every nuance of the hybrid integration, would be preserved for future generations. Director Hayes activated her comm link. Dr. Werner and the HAMCI team are standing by for preliminary data transmission. The Cimmerian High Council has also requested immediate consultation regarding implementation protocols. Robinson watched as Paya moved toward the operating theater's exit, his steps sure and steady. The Elder's restored crystal structure pulsed with healthy neural activity, each facet reflecting the light in new ways that marked the profound change they had achieved. "Henderson," Robinson said, "prepare the quantum sensor logs for transmission." "Drake, I need a complete power consumption analysis for the hybrid integration phase." He turned to his secondary display, where urgent messages from medical facilities across known space already waited for response. The hybrid crystals continued their steady pulse, each resonance pattern confirming the stable fusion of technologies that would transform a Cimmerian medical science. Through the operating theater's viewport, the last traces of the solar storm faded into the starfilled void.